that day. Well, that day everybody in the neighborhood was just a little concerned because we were hearing all the news reports about the river and what was going on. So pretty much the whole neighborhood was walking the river dike and looking, and it looked very threatening, of course. I think it got probably at one point during the afternoon about 8 foot below the actual top level of the dike, and so I just kind of just in case, because the only thing we heard was just a like minor flooding in the Riverside area. So we just weren't didn't nobody really had a panic about them. So we hooked the camper up just in case, and I put all the contents from my safe only into that camper, and I just left it hooked up to the truck just in case something would happen. We could get out quickly. Well, then, all was normal. I was still pretty uneasy, even though at the 10 o'clock news I still heard just minor flooding. So I decided, well, I'm just going to kind of sleep with one eye open in the recliner and leave the front window open. And of course, when I looked up the road. I just happened to be watching the TV, and I looked up the road. Still no warnings, but I could see water coming down the road back, probably about 3 houses back up here, And so I thought, that's not good. That's never good when you got flooding situation going on elsewhere and you're seeing water. So I got out and I started checking, and I could see the water down there. And my first instinct, of course, is we'd all talked with our neighbors earlier in the day that we'd try to stick together and just, if something did go wrong. Well, I knew they were home over here, and there are a couple in their 80s, mid 80s, and so I started there, knowing that they weren't getting around too good. I started knocking at the door. Then I got nobody. Started pounding on windows. I went around back to pound on the windows back there, and
Was this the middle of the night? They're
this
probably
is
sleeping.
at about 12:30 at night. And that's when this started. So when I got in the backyard, I could see a river running back behind that row of houses on South River Drive there, and I knew we were in trouble when I seen that. Of course, this acreage back here belongs to me, so I know the land pretty good back here. It dead ends here at River Drive South, and then it takes up on the other end of River Drive, and it's all a big valley in there. And so when I seen that river, and I know how much area, at the rate that was going, I knew that was going to fill up fairly quick, and then we'd all be in trouble here. And sure enough, so when I got them out, they were already gone. The next house, I tried to, I got her to the door, and she just refused to go. And I told her, look out the back window. You will want to go if you see what I'm seeing. But she had to get rescued later. Then the neighbors next to them, then they left right away. They lost a few cars in the flood, though. They only two of them. They drove one of them out, I think, together. Then this woman around the cul-de-sac here, Pearl, I'm not sure what her last name is now, but I knew that she just lost her husband, and she had 4 grandkids that were there for the weekend. And I thought I'd better get over there and let them know. The rest of the people, I thought, were probably young enough they might have a better chance of swimming out if they could, Anyway, my wife was waiting for me because I told her what I was going to do, try to warn people. So she had her truck backed out and was parked here waiting for me to come out back that way with the camper. When I came around I was going to start down the road and go up the road, and then I seen her sitting in water with that truck, and she's handicapped. We had to leave. We had to go. It was that simple. I wasn't going to have to try to rescue her out of the water should something, Wasn't going to wait for that to happen.
So you removed the floor.
Removed everything because the flooring, it was warped up so bad that we had to get it out. I mean, it was unsafe. I'm trying to think. The second day, the water was still up to this level inside the house, but my wife has some medical controllers for her stimulators in her brain, and she's not able to control that stuff, so I thought I'd go in and try to retrieve it, just a chance it might have been high enough that we
Right.
didn't lose it. So my son and I kayaked in here
Oh,
to
really?
go in, and scariest thing I've ever been through. You know, if you could only see what it's like inside a home, it's just everything floats to the top and some things sink, so you're walking on stuff, you have no idea what you're walking on. You know, yet the floors, you could feel that they're all up in the air, you know, and it's a whole different experience, you know. And but her medical devices were all underwater, of course. So
How much water did you have on the main floor of the house?
that deep
Really?
is when I
About
went
the
in.
waist?
Okay, but that was I don't think that was the highest point really, you know. But that's how deep it was right here. Probably 43, 42 inches somewhere in there when I went in, you know. That's been a total disaster. You know, it was like if you would have been down here that Sunday after the water receded, all you could see lined up down both roads was trash, trash. That was everywhere, you know. And the efforts, of course, the dumpster stopped getting dumped on Saturday at noon. So there wasn't any dumpster space. We had volunteer construction workers. Of course, I'm a construction worker too, so I know a lot of people that were out here volunteering. And we lost one of my dump trucks back here to the flood, but I had one of my men working on that, and he got it going. So we were even using that to haul garbage to the site over there. They were hauling with dump trailers, but we had our dump truck involved. The Bobcats that were volunteering came in, and they were dumping into that. And we just kind of kept things moving, you know, that day. And at least we weren't overwhelmed completely.
The expense, has that been a big issue? I assume it would be a worry for just about anybody.
It will be on the rebuild process. Of course, you know, we haven't even really felt too much of the effects. Yes, we're having to rent. We left with a camper, but that only lasted a week because my wife's disability, the walls closed in really quick on her.
Sure.
So we actually rented an apartment now. And, you know, other than the deposits and the month rent, you know, we'll notice it though, because the home was paid off, you know. At my age, I was setting up for retirement. I had the home paid off. I had all the bills paid off. Just waiting on another year or two, maybe even retire next year. Just depends. I still want to work. I'm not done yet. But just getting prepared for that day. And then this happened. Now, of course, we're devastated that way because, you know, other than just what little bit we saved up for our retirement is, you know, we're going to have to use a good chunk of that just to rebuild what we got going on.
And you want to stay. You want to stay. It hasn't
Well,
made you think,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, because now we may end up, I think they're going to end up making it a floodplain again. Okay. Now we're
They'll
going to
buy
have to
you
buy
out?
that. See, before we weren't on the floodplain. We
Yeah.
were protected by the levee. Although the water didn't come in by the levee here, it came in from the northwest corner of Riverside there. And through the floodgate there had some problems that day, and it came in there too pretty good. But no, it's been a tough go all around.
I'm sure.